Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 486 for January 20th, 2021. And I'm Josh Ki6NAZ. Thanks so much for checking out Ham Nation here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. I want to mention this right up front because we got a couple of questions the last time we did an episode. We are live every 2 weeks with Ham Nation, so make sure you follow the YouTube Ham Radio Crash Course channel. Just click the subscribe and the little bell, and it will notify you when we are live. Also, the podcast will return. We got tons of good comments to bring back the podcast, and we will. We're going to start out with the audio podcast. I will be getting the RSS feed from Twit, and I will be reusing that. So if you have the podcast already installed, you don't have to do anything. When it starts showing up with episodes, that means I got my act together and got it up and running. So I take it over in February, and that's when it'll start getting pushed out. So that's for everybody that commented. I wanted to mention it right up top so that we didn't miss any of those comments, so that I got a lot of them last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't want to miss it. So anyway, let's bring up the hosts here. How's it going, everybody? We got a new panel here. To my lower, or my left, but I guess the way I'm looking at it's a little weird. We got Valerie. Valerie's with us here today. How are you doing, Val?
I'm doing great. For those of you who may not know, I'm at a new QTH temporarily. I'm down here in Florida, enjoying the sun. Unfortunately, we're in a restricted community, so we're in the villages, which is a lot of active hams here, but no antennas allowed. So should I show my pictures, Josh?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Jerry, being as resourceful as he is, he invented his new little lawn chair antenna system. So let me show that to you. There you go. So as soon as the sun sets, out comes the lawn chair antenna, so no one can see it. And then as soon as the sun rises, down it comes. So there's our little station set up here in the Villages, Florida, because he's going a little crazy without our wonderful antenna systems that we have up in Illinois. But we love it here, and a couple more episodes, and then we'll be back at my normal QTH.
Very good. And just above Valerie, we've got Joe. Joe, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Well, hi, Josh, and thank you for inviting me to become a regular on the show. And I'll be showing some kits and some gadgets and some fun stuff that I've been working with and things like that. And kind of what ham radio is all about here in Nebraska. So I have lots of kits to talk about, some tools, some interesting things. And each week, we're going to look at different kit building techniques and different kits. And we're just going to have a whole bunch of fun getting people all excited about soldering their own stuff.
It should be a lot of fun. I know that's always a really interesting topic on my videos, is people love to talk about ham radio tools, and kits are always a lot of fun. So thanks again, Joy, for joining us. And Amanda, you're keeping an eye on the crazy chat room right now. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yes, I'm watching the chat room, and I just had to say, Valerie, how did you and Jerry not do a remote station so you could just work from home?
I actually, at the virtual Ham Fest, which there's one coming up in the middle of March, I did buy the kit to set it up, but there's just so much. You've seen our antenna farm, so to get all the rotors I just never had the time to get it set up before we came down here. So. Next best thing. Hey, we got a -4 out of Nigeria and a plus something, a new one we just got in from German Antarctic station. So we're getting good signals with the lawn chair antenna. So
now Val has to admit to us that they can get good signal reports down in Florida without their super station. Someone's in trouble. All right. Well, thanks, Val. And chat room, stay tuned. I'm in there with you, taking your questions, and I'll be happy to throw them out whenever you got them. So
our net controller down for the Ham Radio Crash Course net is in Florida, and he does amazing. He just absolutely gets all over the place with it really easily. So there's some good signals coming out of Florida for sure.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, Valerie, we do have a video from you that we're going to be talking about. We should mention that right up front. So everybody interested with the solar cycle, we're going to be hitting that up too. So stay tuned. But first, we're going to be talking to Michael Cauly about what's going on with HamCation. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good, Josh. Thank you for having me on tonight.
So let's dive right into it. What's going on? You're dealing with some interesting times, and HamCation has got to adapt, right? So what's going on for 2021?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it. You're live.
Okay. Yeah, everything's locked up on my computer, but it's still working. That's weird.
Well, don't touch anything and just talk, and I'll work around you. I'll work the website. You go for it. So what do we got going on?
2021, because of COVID, we did go virtual. What we're doing, we're having webinars to replace our forums. We have 4 tracks of webinars: contesting, technology, vendor, and youth. So if you're a contester, you can check out contesting ones. Technology goes into more kit building. I know Joe's doing a couple of them. There's mesh networking webinars, D-Star, Tapper's doing several of them. Then your vendors, of course, is your ICOMs, Yaesu, Flex Radio. Then your youth webinar. We have Yoda 2021 on there. Carol Perry's doing her teacher one for us. Right now, I believe we only have 5 open slots, so the webinars are almost full. We update them as they come in on the website. You can, you have to register to attend a webinar. Once you hit the little info button on the right-hand side, you just click register, key in your information. Once you register, you will be once you attend a webinar, you will be entered into our prize drawing. We are doing hourly prize drawings in between the webinars. So we got some great prizes lined up. Saturday's grand prize is going to be a Yaesu 991A. Sunday's grand prize is going to be a ICOM IC705 from ICOM America, donated. We have other stuff. We have a 9700, other radios, whole bunch of prizes on there right now. I think we're up to, I think there's like 29 or 30 prizes listed, and there's more of them coming as people are donating. You can buy extra prize tickets for a donation to OARC or HamCation. The money from that is actually going to donations to our local clubs. Every year, everybody that volunteers donates their hours to HamCation or to a club of their choice, and we make a donation every year to those clubs after HamCation. Last year, we donated over $15,000 to local clubs, and that helps the clubs fund the clubs for the year, for repeater maintenance, stuff like that. When we decided to postpone HamCation for this year, we knew it would affect the clubs, so we're still trying to raise money to actually do these donations to the clubs. So that's one of the big things we're doing. We are also going to have a HamCation QSO party.
Right.
We have partnered with, sponsored by ICOM and the Florida Contest Group. It's going to be a little unique QSO party this year. Everybody can work everybody. Anybody that participates will get a certificate of participation. But if you want to get some extra bonus points, if you contact 9 of the 1x1 special event stations, which spell out HamCation, you'll get bonus points. And anybody that contacts all 9 of them will also get a certificate saying that they contacted all 9 of them. So a little different than the other QSO parties that some of the other HamFest has done since they have canceled.
Yeah. What's the prizes? So you mentioned the prizes that are available. How does one get in on the prize action?
Just like I said, if you actually register and attend a webinar, you get one free entry. So everybody that attends a webinar gets a free entry into the prize drawing. If you would like to buy extra prize donation tickets, they're $5 per ticket, and it's on the front page of the website. Just go under where it says prize tickets, and you can actually purchase extra prize tickets.
We want to make sure we give everybody the URL, and I apologize, I've got to add it to the video, but it is HamCation.com. HamCation, all one word, .com is how you can find the information for that. That sounds great. And again, just so everybody knows, we'll get the website back there. So it is February 13th through 14th this year, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Excellent. Michael, thanks so much for joining us out here.
And I have at least one question here, Mike, if you don't mind. Bill wanted to know, are you still on for an exam session on February 14th?
We are. We're actually doing live exams actually at the fairgrounds in the North Hall, which is where the prize barrel will be, or was previous years. We've rented this hall so we can actually social distance, and we can do up to around 32 people testing and still social distance them around 8 foot apart for each one of them. I know this is more for local people within Central Florida. I'm pretty sure the whole country is like this. Locally, there's really nobody doing testing. It's been almost probably about a year now since anybody's been able to test down here. So we decided to do this to try to get some of the people that wants to get licensed, get into amateur radio, or to want to upgrade a chance to actually do it on February 14th.
Excellent. And I know this was a favorite of Val's too, wasn't it, Val? You used to always love to go to HamCation. So
No, we were scheduled to go to our last HamCation last year, and then COVID, we both got really sick and we couldn't go, and we were hoping to do this year. So, but I do have a question. The HamCation QSO party, is that going to be in the user defined contest on N1MM so we can use our software? Do you know?
I believe it is. I know if you go to hamcation.com under event info, there's QSO, and there's logging information there of the ones that will work. And I believe that is one of them that will.
Okay, great.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for coming out. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to hit right on top here?
The only other thing that we are doing, two things. One, we partnered with Gold Medal Ideas to sell special edition merchandise. It's on the website also. Plus, this is actually helping out one of our vendors also. So if you want some special edition, limited edition HamCation merchandise, you can do that. Also, on the front page of our website, you'll see a link there that you can purchase a special edition lanyard. There's a limited amount of those for $8. That includes shipping, and all the proceeds from that actually goes back to the donations for local clubs.
Very good. All right. Okay, well, again, thank you for coming out, Michael. I think we're going to take a break here to catch an update from ICOM, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Happy 2021 from ICOM. ICOM's IC705 gives hours of fun and enjoyment working your favorite bands. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick for hams that like to enjoy what both the great indoors and outdoors have to offer. It's the perfect QRP companion. Base station features and functionalities at the tips of your fingers in a portable package, covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. 5 watts with the BP272 battery pack, or 10 watts with external 13.8 volt DC. Single sideband CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functions. Micro USB connector, Bluetooth, and wireless LAN. integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, micro SD card slot, HM243 speaker microphone, and it supports QRP and QRPP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the now available optional LC192 backpack with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or a day in the park. Other available accessories include the AL705 QRP portable magnetic antenna, BP272 standard battery pack, or BP307 lithium-ion battery pack, micro USB to micro USB cable, USB Type-C to micro USB cable, DC power cable, compact lapel PTT microphone with earphone, MBF705 desktop tray, and coming soon, the AH705 antenna tuner. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great ICOM radios.
And thanks again to ICOM for sponsoring this show. We really appreciate it. I have been loving my 705, which many of you have seen in all my videos that I've been putting out. So great work there, and yeah, go check that out. To go along with that, though, ICOM has been gracious enough to do some giveaways. They're doing monthly or bi-weekly giveaways or drawings, and the link is in the description to it. You take that link and you can enter. There's 2 chances of winning what we're calling swag, so different ICOM swag, and then there is a grand prize drawing. January's grand prize was an ID 5100A, and the winner was Len Stankiewicz, K8LJS. And then we had swag winners, which were Peter DeKells, KJ7IEA, Philip Muth, W0RHP, and Jason Morrow, N4AII. So great. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. So again, the link is in the description. Go check that out for the video. And yeah, thanks ICOM again for doing that for us. All right, so Valerie, I think, has a really cool little segment that she's going to walk through an interview that she did talking about what we can expect in Solar Cycle 25. So let's take it away, Val. Oh, there we go.
Yep. Yeah, so I did this a couple weeks ago because I knew I'd be traveling and getting down here. But Carl K9LA, he is, in addition to being the vice director of the Central Division, which is my division, he's been into ham radio, actually shortwave listening since like 5th or 6th grade, and he's really always been into propagation. And so he's always the speaker at all our local fests and things on propagation. So I thought it would be nice to bring him on and let him tell us what's coming up for this next solar cycle. So here's that interview.
Thanks, Carl, and appreciate your joining us today. So Carl's kind of our propagation expert. So why don't you get right into the meat and potatoes and what can we expect coming up over this winter, propagation-wise?
Sure, Val. Well, first, a little history. Our last sunspot we saw for cycle 24 was in July 2020. And the first sunspot for cycle 25 was in July 2019. What that tells us is solar cycles overlap. And there's a period at Solar Min when we see sunspots from both cycles. The good news is cycle 25 has begun its ascent. And in fact, the past couple of weeks have been pretty good. The peak in activity luckily fell around the CQ Worldwide DX contests, and that made things really good. And there was a little help too for the ARRL 10-meter contest. I'm aware of 53 predictions out there for cycle 25, so that's quite a few. What that says is we just don't fully understand the physical process that makes sunspots. So there's all kinds of ways that people predict a cycle. We're gonna have to live with that till we have a better handle on that.
It's probably similar to like a hurricane model where you see 40 spaghetti strings going all over the place. So.
That's right. Of those 53 predictions, 50 are for an average or below average cycle. And that's kind of sobering, but there are 3 out there for a big cycle. And the one that's got the most publicity is from Dr. Scott McIntosh. And he's predicting a big cycle. All I can say is we're going to have to wait and see what happens.
Are we? Is it going to be a fast rise, or is it going to be real
Yeah.
slow and gradual?
That is one of the ways that we might be able to tell where cycle 25 is going by how fast it rises. Right now, there just isn't enough data yet on cycle 25 to make that judgment. But if we look at historical data, we can see that cycle 19, the biggest one in recorded history, rose very quickly. And cycle 24, the one that just ended, it took its time rising. And like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see what cycle 25 does.
Well, if this goes back to 19 and we've only had, I mean, a few really good days here and there. I mean, we did great in the 10-meter contest. Like you said, it was great. Friday, Saturday, not so much, but so if it started in 19, it's kind of looks slow, right? Or it could start slow and then.
Well, we're still at solar minimum. It's too early to say what's going to happen. Hopefully, maybe in 6 months, maybe we can kind of say, hey, it looks like this is going to happen, but whatever. And I'm frustrated because you guys could work Europe in the 10-meter contest and I couldn't even hear Europe, but okay, that's another.
Well, you're a little further north, I believe, right?
Smaller antennas, smaller towers.
Yeah. So do you think this winter will be a little bit better than last winter, at least?
Oh, it should, yes.
Okay.
It'll as cycle 25 rises, the conditions will improve slowly, unfortunately. And the best time for propagation to Europe and Japan in the northern hemisphere is during the fall and winter months. So, next summer things will kind of take a little dip, but then hopefully next fall and winter in 2021 things will be very noticeably different.
And what's great for those of you who haven't experienced 10 meters when we're in the middle of a good cycle, I mean, seriously, you don't need good antennas, good amplifiers. When it's open, it's open. I mean,
right.
50 watts and you could talk to the world on 10 meters and you don't need a general or an extra class license. You can get in there with a technician license. So that'll be really exciting for you new hams. It was my favorite band because when I came on board, 10 was hot back in 2011 when I first started DXing. So it'll be very exciting for you new hams out there to experience 10 meters once it starts to come alive.
Come alive, yes.
Yeah. So what kind of tools, if people are looking to see if there's going to be good sunspot activity and things like that will affect propagation, what's the best place they can go to pull this information up?
Okay, Val. Well, we have to remember we're trying to simplify some very complicated processes in the atmosphere. But I think one of the best things to do is go look at one of the colorful banners that N0NVH puts out. They're at, you'll see his banner at qrz.com. I believe it's solarham.net, and there's probably many other places. It shows up everywhere, and that's good. And what we have to realize is that even though the sunspot number is 0, no sunspots, and even though the 10.7 centimeter solar flux is down at 65, it bottoms out, there's still enough extreme ultraviolet radiation from the sun to keep 20 meters open during the day and early evening. So what we really can use those colorful banners for is to determine what's maybe going to happen with the higher bands, 15, 12, and 10 meters, and maybe even 6 meters. So we have to remember that sunspots and 10.7 centimeters solar flux are only proxies for the true ionizing radiation, which is extreme ultraviolet. So just keep that in mind. And if you look at one of those banners, I think the best thing there are a couple things to look at. There are many parameters. Some are kind of redundant. So we're just going to focus on 2 for telling us if the higher bands are open. That's the SFI, which is the 10.7 centimeter solar flux, and SN, which is sunspot number. And basically, if the SFI, the 10.7 centimeter solar flux, is consistently above 100, that probably indicates that 10 meters has a good chance of being open.
By consistently, you see more than 2 days, or
longer than that? Yes,
even longer than that.
Much longer, yeah.
Okay.
And also that kind of correlates to the sunspot number. If it's greater than about 70 consistently for a longer time period, that probably means 10 meters will be open consistently worldwide. So those two are pretty important. The other two that are important are the K and the A indices. Both of those tell us how active the Earth's magnetic field is. If the Earth's magnetic field is active, that generally means poor propagation. And that's caused by disturbances on the sun, coronal mass ejections and coronal holes. And that'll raise the K indice, which is the 3-hour index, which is the one you really should be looking at. In general, we want a high solar flux, a high sunspot number, and a low K and A indices. So that's a good start for determining if the higher bands are good. Like I said, 20 meters and lower, they're going to be open all the way through a solar cycle, no problem at all. Some places to go get more data. There's solarham.net. There's spaceweather.com. They have lots of data. And of course, there's lots of information on what all that stuff means. There's also the Space Weather Prediction Center. That'd be swpc.noaa.gov. That has a lot of good stuff that you can read about and tie it to how propagation is.
Are there any tools out there? Say somebody is going somewhere, maybe Fiji or something, and they want to know in September when they go what the propagation might be. Are there any kind of predicting tools out there they can use to figure that out?
Yes, there are propagation prediction programs. There are two free ones that probably are the most used. One is VOACAP, the Voice of America prediction program. voacap.com, that'll take you there. You can also download VOACAP and run predictions all by yourself.
That would be fun.
There's a tutorial on my home web page, K9LA.us, in the general link that tells you how to download it, use it, and interpret it. W6EL Prop is another propagation prediction program. Both of those are Windows and they're free. So that makes it pretty neat. Also, if you don't want to run your own predictions, you can go to voacap.com, input like your antennas, your noise environment, your transmit power and your targeted location, and out will pop a prediction for you. So you don't have to go through it. It's very easy to do. And that's a way to get into propagation predictions without getting too deep into what does all this mean and whatever. And it gives you some nice pictures of what bands are open at what time. And there's a couple ways to look at that, and you can use whatever suits you best.
Well, that's perfect too. If you're going hiking and doing a summit on the air thing, do you want to bring the antenna for 20, so that's great that you don't have to have your PhD in propagation to figure this out. So that's pretty. So, last but not least, thanks for that. That's going to be great. And I'll put these up at the end again. I understand you've got a big thing coming up at the end of January. So why don't you tell everybody about what's going on?
Okay, on January 23rd, DX Engineering in Ohio is sponsoring a propagation summit. It's free to everybody. The way to find it is, I think it's 2021 Propagation Summit. You Google that and you get you right to it. Like I said, it's free. I don't recall if you have to register, but that's easy to do. Otherwise,
probably if it's a Zoom event.
Yes, it's a Zoom event. It's virtual, and it's basically 4 presentations. The first one is an update on the personal space weather station by Nathaniel W2NAF. He is the main guy behind the Ham SCI organization, which is hams participating and contributing to science using amateur radio techniques. And that's at 11 a.m. Eastern. The next one is at noon, and that's me, and I'll talk about all the predictions for cycle 25. By then, we still probably won't know what's going to happen, but we can speculate and hope for good things. At 1 p.m., Jim, WA3FET, is going to talk about doing terrain analysis for your antennas to see how your elevation patterns look. If you got a hill blocking you, it'll show up. If you're on a hill and it downslopes, it'll show that you've got an advantage. So that'll be an interesting one too. And HFTA, which is HF terrain analysis, that was developed by Dean Straw, N6BV, a former ARRL employee. He's retired. And the last one is probably going to be a fire hose like Contest University is. That's by Frank W3LPL, and it's HF ionospheric propagation. I'm sure he's going to cover many topics. And of course, there'll be a recording of it, so you can go back and watch it a little bit slower. So this this propagation summit's going to be probably I bet you a regular thing, maybe annually or something like that. And it should be pretty good.
And it's January 23rd, Saturday, January 23rd. And best part, it's free, guys. So get out there, register, and join all of us hams on Zoom.
Yes.
And that's always fun. It's always great to learn stuff and get up to date. Especially, it's going to be exciting coming into this new solar cycle. So, Thank you, Carl, so much for coming on and helping us out here with propagation and telling us all about it. So, hope you have great predictions coming up in the next few weeks for us.
Well, you got to remember, I don't predict. I predict there will be a cycle 25. So I think I'm good.
You're going to go out on a limb and make that.
Out on a limb, yeah. We've already seen cycle 25 stuff.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good enough. Thanks, Val. Bye.
So again, contestuniversity.com, register this weekend, and it's free. Another cool thing I kind of found has nothing to do with ham radio. Well, maybe a little. And it's called The Unseen Bean. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, but he is this gentleman is blind from birth, and he makes coffee. And they have some cool blends here. They have the contesting blend. So for you contesters out there that need to stay up all 48 hours, if you go there, you'll get the you can get the contesters blend, and it says it'll keep you going until you win. And they also have the kilowatt blend. So for those of you, maybe you only got 100 watts, this might give you that extra dB gain you might need to get through. But I just thought it was kind of cool. Let you guys know about this place.
A couple of comments,
and help them out and get some cool coffee.
Let me jump in for a couple of comments really quick. One, Good Game Ham Radio is going to just buy the whole stock of coffee right now. That's his favorite thing. Also, the prediction of the big cycle, I'm really excited about that. Also, the great point on the 10 meters. You said you like 10 meters a lot too, particularly for technicians. It's a beautiful band because you've got access to it, right? And with the cycle coming up, it's a perfect time to kind of get out there and have some fun with HF.
Yeah, I got on there with some speaker wire. I used my free antenna, ERRL antenna book when I joined the league, and I made a loop sky wire with some speaker wire I had laying around, and that antenna was hopping, and I had a blast.
Very good. Yeah, I big fan of that band. So, thanks for that video. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey Val, we have another question. I know Carl's not with us tonight, but let me turn on my camera. Sorry about that. So Edward wants to know, where's a good source to learn to read the N0 NBH banner? Solar Cycles for Dummies, maybe? It's all Greek to him.
Well, I put some links up if he wants to rewind and freeze, and some of those do give the how-to. I can't remember. It was it was earlier. I gave the tools, and a lot of them give more information on what's behind it all and how to learn that. But K9LA, his website, k9la.us. And if you go on the left side, there's a general tab, and he kind of goes into it there as well. So there's a few out there, and yeah, just rewind. And the second graphic I put up with all those websites, will have some of that for you.
Well, thank you. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and throw it over to the Amateur Radio Newsline to hear the this week's report.
From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2255, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. For the second consecutive year, HamVention falls to the COVID pandemic. Newsline anchor Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
With distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine falling behind schedule in the U.S., organizers of HamVention 2021 have called off the annual event for the second consecutive year. The executive committee posted the news on various social media outlets on Monday, January 11th, citing several setbacks related to the pandemic, with the vaccine delay named among them. The posting said, quote, "We make this difficult decision for the safety of our guests and vendors. Those who had their tickets deferred last year will be deferred again," end quote. The theme for this year's HamVention was to have been The Gathering. Instead, a HamVention QSO party is planned on the dates the event was to have taken. The organizers added, "We'll be back next year."
This next story is a personal one, celebrating one member of our Newsline family. Our anchor and correspondent, Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, who teaches high school chemistry in Indiana, has been named Carl Perry Educator of the Year by the Orlando HamCation. Newsline editor Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, spoke to Neil about his commitment to amateur radio education.
Licensed since the age of 5, Neil Rapp knows better than most of us that ham radio is the best teacher.
Especially when I got into high school, ham radio helped me understand science. When I got to chemistry and when everybody else was having a hard time, I already knew my metric system. I already knew, when I got to physics, I already knew Ohm's law. I already knew, because I did all that when I was 5.
Those early lessons became the foundation for the path his life took as sponsor of school ham clubs in the ARRL Teacher Institute and as one of the founders and the camp director of Youth on the Air for IARU Region 2. For Neil, ham radio doesn't get old, it gets young.
Yeah, we do have youth in ham radio, and we do have kids doing great things with it, and there are some opportunities to, make sure that this continues. And it amazes me, the kids that are really into CW in a time when a lot of people didn't want to learn CW, and that's what kept them out of the hobby. But they're also into all these cool new digital modes that are becoming more efficient and is setting the pace for the commercial radio industry and cell phones and public service, all the digital stuff. A lot of that came from ham radio.
His next project, a Youth on the Air mini camp that mixes science with the science of socializing.
What we're trying to do is build some of those social connections between the kids. And that's why there's a lot of Yoda time that's at an amusement park, at Dave and Buster's, at, this place and that place that may not have a thing to do with ham radio because it's social interaction time. The whole Yoda thing isn't just learning about radio and learning about technology. It's getting the social aspect there so the kids know other kids. We've seen in Europe that perpetuates the hobby, that keeps the kids in the hobby.
So congratulations, Neil. Your well-deserved Carol Perry Trophy will now sit beside your autographed oscillator from Carol's Youth Forum at HamVention. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Karen Eve Murray, KD2 GUT.
Congratulations, Neil. Well deserved. And also on a personal note, I'd like to thank the Algonquin Amateur Radio Club in Marlborough, Massachusetts for inviting me via Zoom to their most recent club meeting. It was a great night. Thanks again. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
All right. Thank you so much, Don. Thank you, Amateur Radio Newsline. Did we have Dr. T? I thought we had Dr. T.
I didn't see that video. I saw the one from today, but I didn't see the T update.
Okay. All right. I was expecting that. That's all right. Let's backtrack
and if it was
here
there and I missed it, I apologize.
I think they hook them together, so no biggie. No report from Dr. T this week. Unfortunately, she must be busy, so be sure to check her out on Twitter at Dr. Tamitha Skov, I believe. Anyhow, let's move on. We've got a new host to introduce to everyone, and if you guys don't know who I'm about to introduce, you're not really into ham radio as it is. We have Joe Eisenberg with us, K0NEB. Joe, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Why don't you tell us, first of all, tell us your background a little bit, and then tell us what you're going to be showing us in the weeks coming up. Oh, you're muted.
All right, now I'm back. Amanda, thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And thank you very much also for having me at your club in Colorado, your seminars there this last weekend. I really enjoyed doing that. I've been doing 2 or 3 of these a week, and it really keeps me busy, which is good because I'm mostly retired. I only work about a day a week at the most. My real world job is I'm an IT guy. My ham radio job is I'm a monthly columnist, the kit building editor for CQ magazine, and I'm into my 12th year of writing every month about kit building and techniques. I also update and author the construction techniques chapter in the ARL handbook. So that's kind of what I do for ham radio, and I really, really enjoy it, and I love building kits, and sometimes I get to beta test new kits and things like that, and it's something that's been with me for many years. So what my goal is going to be for everybody to know, since this is my first time, we won't get into a super lot of detail this time, but what I want to do is present 1 or 2 kits every week, and we're also going to show 1 or 2 maybe tools or techniques. I'll have some video clips or some still photos to show you different techniques that we use to put together kits. And I always call it kit building techniques for success because we want everybody who tries kit building to be successful the first time, because if you're successful the first time, you're going to buy another kit and you're going to build another kit. And the skills that you learn from kit building will stay with you the rest of your life and become a great big part of amateur radio. So in future episodes, we're going to talk about different tools. We'll set up kind of a little toolkit for a beginning kit builder, things like that. And we'll go through what kinds of solder to use and what temperature to set your iron and what kind of soldering iron or soldering station to get. There's just so much to cover that we've got weeks and weeks and weeks of material. So I really look forward to it. Of course, I won't be on the show every time. I will be on every other time. We'll show you a little kit here. I put this together very recently. This is a regenerative receiver for 40 meter CW. And this is put out by a company called Breadboard Radio. And you'll notice that the kit is on a piece of wood. And this is the matching transmitter to go with that. And I just finished this a couple days ago, and it puts out about 300 milliwatts or 0.3 watts. So we're going to have a whole bunch of higher resolution photos and stuff of these and lots of information to go through. This is a Tesla coil kit. This is kind of fun. If you got kids, it makes sparks and actually plays music by ionizing the air. There's a group called the 4-State QRP group, and I have a lot of their kits, and they're wonderful. And this is the Cricket, and this particular one is a 1-watt CW transceiver. And everybody says, well, it's probably got a receiver like the Pixie. No, it does not. And you don't have to wind any toroids or coils because they're spiral wound right there on the circuit board. And the key comes with it, and you can also hook a regular key or keyer up to it. Just lots and lots and lots of fun kits out there. And of course, we'll go into a lot of these kits in more detail, but I just wanted to give the audience a taste of some of the other things. This is a single sideband digital mode transceiver, and it's put out by Midnight Design Solutions. It is synthesized, so you can actually choose frequencies for different digital modes, not just FT8. The alternate mode there gives you the chance to put in frequencies like for Olivia and other digital modes. The left one being the FT8 frequency. It is synthesized. You got a power switch and plugs and jacks on the back. The case is made out of printed circuit board material, so you don't have to drill or anything. It's already labeled for you and already in the box. I was doing this webcast seminar for your club in Colorado, and my audio mixer died on me. I got loud hum, and they said, Neil, in fact, I was on Neil's show 2 days before, and he said it was unusable. So I had to go to using this headset and Skype on my phone to get through. But this one here, you'll notice that there are two capacitors there right about here that are missing. And that's because I took them out. They were both swollen up. And here's one of them. And there it is. And the top is kind of bulged out. And of course, those are the two filter caps for the output of the two different voltages on the regulated power supply. Now, the way I came to the conclusion that it could have been a bad cap was because I had another mixer similar to it that didn't have a USB output, so it wasn't easy for me to use with the computer. But I looked at the power supply and they were the same. And I looked at the specs on the power supply, and lo and behold, they're AC. They put out two different AC voltages. So the power supply is AC. That means that there's diodes, and sure enough, there are 4 diodes there making a full wave bridge. And there's a couple of regulators and those two filter caps, one for each different DC voltage in the mixer. Well, I always preach having standard spare parts on hand. However, I did not have a 470 microfarad at 35 volts. The ones I had were like 16 volts. So I ended up ordering them, and they just came in the mail this afternoon. So probably tomorrow we'll put those in and put the mixer back together, and I will have a spare mixer so that I will never be caught dead again without a mixer. So these are simple repairs that you can learn by learning the skills of kit building. And of course, to take these capacitors out was interesting. And I will be going over that in a future show, how to take parts off of a circuit board that are made with lead-free solder, because I have a technique that makes it real fast and real easy. So that's my current project, is repairing the mixer. Of course, I'm not going to do much with that bottom of the board. It's all surface mount stuff. So luckily it was the filter caps, and shouldn't take very long to put the two caps in the board. What's going to take the longest is putting the 18 or 20 screws back on the cabinet and putting it back together and testing it out. Here's another kit. This is kind of fun, and we can spend a lot of time with each of these kits, and I plan on doing it. This is the Nouveau 75. This is put out by the 4-State QRP group, and just like the other kit I showed from them, it uses the printed circuit board as a case. And it is synthesized. It is 75 meters AM. And surprisingly, with these guys running kilowatts and so forth, with my paltry little 12 watts of full carrier AM, I've been able to make a few contacts on 80 meters. And so it's a lot of fun to do QRP, 80 meters AM. And it's the first phone type kit ever made by the 4-state group, but I think we're going to see lots more in the near future. Finally, we'll have a little tool time. About every week, I'm going to try and go over a tool, something might be handy. I got this recently, and what you're looking at is a multimeter. And like most multimeters, it has a screen that pops up, and there you go. But this one is a little different. This one is kind of fun. It is also an oscilloscope. And so if you're troubleshooting audio circuits or things like that, or oscillators and so forth, it's neat to be able to see the carriers and stuff from your VFOs and so forth. So this meter does the usual stunts that most of them do. It's got a temperature probe, and it does resistance and capacitance and so forth. But the neatest part of it is it's an oscilloscope too. And oscilloscopes, that's going to be a whole nother program, because oscilloscopes are probably one of the most useful tools for a kit builder or somebody trying to repair something. So, Amanda, that is what I am, and that's what we're going to be doing. And I hope to have wetted the whistles of everybody, and we'll get into more stuff when I next appear on the show. And sometime we'll even talk about the doomsday clock over my shoulder. That's got an interesting story behind it. So,
oh man, that's one of the questions in the chat room.
It is actually a doomsday clock, and I will explain it sometime. It is very historical, and eventually I will have a controller for it to lock the time in a little better.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear this story. You're going to have to let us know. A couple more questions for you. Someone was asking about the date stamp on your bad capacitors. Did you look at it?
The date stamp? No, I did not. In fact, I have it right here, and I don't know where it would be. The problem with this particular mixer, as opposed to the newer one that I'm using right now, is that if you leave it plugged in to the supply, there was no on-off switch. So it apparently overheated and so forth. So once I have it fixed, I'm just going to leave it unplugged from the power supply until I need it. But I have not found a date stamp on this capacitor. I will look, but right now I'm not seeing it. But I can tell you that one of them was bulged and the other one wasn't quite. But I figured if I'm going to replace one, I'm going to replace them both while I'm in there.
Absolutely. Plus that you didn't pay any extra shipping to get 2 of those sent to you. That's for
exactly.
Sure.
I bought a 10-pack, so I make sure I have lots of these, because it seems to be a common capacitor in some of these power supplies.
Definitely. Now, Kevin Mitchell down in New Zealand, he wants to know, have you implemented 3D printing into your kit building?
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's going to be another thing we're going to cover. You can't see it here, but I'm reaching over and touching my 3D printer. And this is an example of a kit put out by QRP guys. And this is a digital mode transceiver. And as you can see, the case is made from a 3D printer. And there's the bottom and so forth. And you can see the circuit board in there, and I can pop it out. And like this. So now you can see that and the case. So everything is made with the 3D printer. And when they put this kit out, they graciously put a file. Some guys call it the recipe. It is a file that lets me compile it and then send it to my 3D printer. And so I'm doing a lot of 3D printer work. And somebody probably got the idea, because in the background, I've got one of these. And maybe I'll make you one of these. I make call signs also out of the 3D printer. So yes, I do use 3D printers. And I made over 300 face shields for Lincoln Fire and Rescue at the beginning of the pandemic when they were impossible to get. I spent hours every day printing and assembling them and taking them over to the fire station. So 3D printers are very, very useful.
Oh, well, bless you for doing that. That's really sweet. I have a few friends that were doing that when this pandemic started, which we thought would be over way by now. But anyhow, they were doing the same thing, making the parts for them. So that was really nice. I'm seeing another question for you real quick here, Joe. Brett Glass wants to know, are you aware of capacitor plague? If so, do you have general recommendations for recapping?
Well, if I'm dealing with older tube type radios, I try to just pretty much replace all the caps, especially in the power supply. I'm working on an old S120 Hallicrafters now, and that one, there's a place called Hayseed Hamfest, and they have capacitor kits for recapping certain radios. And so I have done a couple of those. And when you're doing one of those, you're not going to get away with the pencil type soldering iron that I use normally for circuit boards and so forth. Sometimes I use a heavier iron or a gas powered iron, or even a small soldering gun is what I needed for certain connections in my SB200 when I fixed the parasitic chokes in it recently. So we'll get into all that soon, but yes, especially older tube type radios, recapping them is very worthwhile.
All right. Now my next question is for Valerie. Val, everyone's dying to know. You showed us the lawn chair antenna. So everyone wants to know, what is that antenna that you're using?
Oh, I forgot to ask that. Yes. Oh, you're muted.
It's just a wire dipole. That's just the mast holding it up. So,
what's the telescopic pole that he's using? Is it a particular brand, or is it like an eBay special?
I think he got it from DX Engineering. It's hang on, Jerry.
There we go. Yeah, we'll go get Jerry in here too.
Yeah.
It's an MFJ from DX Engineering. So
okay.
I've been working on year end, so he's been having his little fun out in the other room while I'm working. I brought my computer. I'm working from home, so I really didn't get involved with this at all. Sorry.
Well, that would be my next question is, have you guys been fighting over your one single radio?
Once I get all these companies' year ends closed, I'll probably be on the radio, but no, I'm real busy in this room right here.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for all of your great questions this evening. And if I missed any, just slap me with an email and I'll address them next week. We're not going to find out the Zulu clock answer, which is killing me now.
Reason to come back next time.
Jeez.
Right? That's right. Let's see. Let's go over some nets here. I do have some other news. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack here. Gordo wanted to send us a note, and he said, stay tuned. February 3rd, he'll be doing part 2 of his HF Mobile Whips, adjustable and motorized HF antennas, and some seen at Quartz Pods photos from over the years of some setups that he's seen. So stay tuned, and I'm sure he's going to recap Quartz Pods a whole lot more than that. I tried to ask him if he was having a good time, but he was having too much of a good time to even respond to me. So he must be having an excellent time.
And for everybody asking, Dawn will be back, and so will Randy. They're just busy this show, so don't worry. We're only adding more hosts at this point. We're not getting rid of any. So thank you everybody for asking.
Exactly right. My goodness, you guys, don't sweat it. Don just wanted to celebrate his kiddo's 21st birthday. Who wouldn't want to do that? And I'm glad that he has opportunity to do that. But I do have some late breaking news.
Breaking news on Ham Nation, because I don't have audio yet. So here we go.
That works.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
We don't even need the audio. We all know what Last Man Standing is. We've all enjoyed working them in their years while they're operating on set, trying to give us a contact, promoting the show, of course, but all over just having fun with amateur radio and making sure that we get to work them on the set. A live working ham radio station on a set of a studio is no laughing matter. So anyhow, they are about to come up with the funnest special event station. So they're in partnership, and sorry, I'm not eye rolling, you guys, I swear. I'm just reading my email over here. They're in partnership with the Long Island Great South Bay Amateur Radio Club, who also hosts the 12 Days of Christmas and the K2 Heroes teams. And they're going to come up with these 1-by-1 calls, and they're going to have a certificate. They're going to have a clean sweep certificate if you work all of the stations. They're going to have guest stations. They're also going to be doing some live streaming of some of those operations. And thanks to Amateur Logic TV, I think they're going to be streaming some of it live. But wait, there's more. They're also going to be doing not just HF, they're going to go to all digital modes as well. I'm betting that Joe is going to be running FT8, I believe.
And sideband.
And sideband, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you're going to have D-Star, DMR, everything you can imagine. They're going to be on it with people like us around the United States joining together to do this. When is it, you ask? It is starting 00 Zulu on March 24th, and it will end on March 30th. So you got a few days to get in there and get all those stations worked, get the clean sweep. And none other than Jeff and I are going to be running this as well. So we'll put our power station up there and work both sides of the country, get you in the logs on 20, 40, maybe even 80. And this is just in the early phases, so we're trying to plan it all out, but I'm really excited about this. It's going to be super fun. So anybody that's never gotten a QSL card, never managed to make it to their station because they only had 100 watts, this is your chance. This is your real opportunity to get them in the logs, get that QSL card, and have that commemorative card, and say a final goodbye to Last Man Standing for their final season. So I'm really looking forward to that. So,
I am as well, operating from here in the middle of the country as well.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fantastic time. I don't know how many hours they'll give all of us in the windows. Again, it's in the early planning stages, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, we're going to start wrapping stuff up here. I'm going to go over the nets tonight. I saw on 80 meters, we're going to be on 38.30. Kevin, I didn't see you in chat, or if I might have missed you. Look around 71.92 for the 40 meter net. And then, thank you, Josh. He brought up another thing I wanted to talk about. We have so many events coming up, and now that we're biweekly, I don't get a chance to talk about them all. I wanted to mention Winter Field Day. So a lot of you Southerners, this is your field day because there's no bugs. I wanted to just briefly mention that it's going to be on January. Josh, help me out.
Oh, did I do it? 30th and 31st.
30th and 31st. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was the 29th and 30th. So anyhow, same as your normal field day, almost the same exchange report, but sometimes I have heard in the past a lot of people working from home, but again, as many people get out and do their emergency setup and make sure that their stuff is still working. So good time to take out all of your Go boxes, your solar panels, your batteries, see what you can do and see who you can hear and who you can work. So it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, they definitely aim for it to be more towards that, self-reliant operator type thing, getting outdoors. I think, and I'm sure the chat will correct me, they don't accept FT8 context. So it's digital modes where it's a two-way QSO, keyboard to keyboard. So that's just a note for those that are interested in it. I will likely be doing something, but I feel bad when I participate because it's like from a beach or something, and the weather's too good where I'm at. You're supposed to actually go out where it's cold, right, and try and deal with the weather there to make contact. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not working you if you're on the beach. I'm sorry, not gonna happen. No, I think it is a good time, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't go out and freeze and do it, but I know a lot of stations do. And in fact, some do sodas and such. And I'm like, y'all are crazy. But they do it. All right. Once again, let's go over the nets. We've got D-Star on 14 Charlie and 7192. Look around there. Again, I haven't seen Kevin come in, so I don't know if he's hosting it. Oh, someone says 7192, so that's confirmed. Go find them, and 3830 for 75 meters. So, all right. Does anyone else have anything final they'd like to talk about?
It was a big week. Obviously Sunday they dropped the FCC note. I did put a video out on that. Some people have probably seen it.
Good video, by the way.
A lot of people have seen it.
I recommend that video. If anyone had any questions about what the hell did I just see, I think Josh clears it up quite well. And I don't know about the rest of you that saw it, but I was quite shocked to see this warning about the FCC reminding us that if we conduct illegal business on amateur frequencies that we would be fined or whatnot. I just didn't realize that we needed that warning. But then, I took a step back and realized that, well, there's how many drivers in this country, 280 million or something like that. And they still put out billboards that say, don't drink and drive. They're saying, don't commit a crime. Mm-hmm. So I give them that. But it was still just a really creepy, bizarre warning.
The FCC just dropping a one pager is kind of a rare thing. It was just a one page, hey, big reminder. And everybody keep in mind, these are all things you signed up for when you got your license, right? They're not new laws. It's just kind of a, poke reminder that this is kind of what it is. So, keep that in mind. Some people brought up First Amendment stuff. And again, you can pretty much have any discussion you want on amateur radio up to a point, like FCC ban stuff, right? You can't talk about that. But everything else is pretty much okay. At the end of the day, though, it's a like-minded group of people, ideally. And so if you do disagree, that's fine. Just do it in a way that, you're not getting into a big drag-out fight with somebody. I think that's what I always try and tell people is keep it amicable. All right.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And if you can't do that, just don't talk about that stuff. That's it. That's the simple way to approach it. So, yeah.
Just like family holidays, it's not a problem. Not a problem.
Right. Val, anything else? Joe, anything you want to mention before we wrap up?
The main thing about that was getting a note from the FCC posted on a Sunday morning, let alone anything having to do with amateur radio, because that's so extremely rare that they post anything about us. And to see that on a Sunday morning, that was kind of a surprise.
Indeed. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for watching episode 2, but actually, what was it, episode 486 of Ham Nation, continuing on out here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. We thank you for checking it out, and I'll just mention it again. This is twice. We'll do it once every 2 weeks, so the best way, there's a couple of people that mentioned it, the best way to keep up to date on that is click subscribe and click the little bell, and that'll notify you when we go live. So, all right. So I guess for everybody here, I'm Josh K9LA, and you've been watching Ham Nation, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.